Hello everybody and welcome to something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the first Java snapshot of 1.17. Yes, it's very exciting actually. I didn't expect this to be released this soon. But yeah, we'll take a little look at some of the features and yeah, we'll see what's up. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is some little quality of life changes that they've made to the game. These aren't massive things, but they add some nice changes. So as you can see, you can now actually waterlog rails. So before if water and rails came into contact, the rails would instantly break. But now you can actually put them underwater, and with this minecart going, you can see it actually makes it through the water. Now, in the update notes, they have said that sending minecarts through water does dramatically slow them down, but it doesn't actually seem to have done that much damage to the overall speed of it. So let's have a look. Ah, a lava bucket. Excellent. This brings us on nicely to our next little feature. So you can now actually put lava in a cauldron, which is a nice little feature. I'm not really sure, the uses of this other than just storing lava nearby, but I don't know if actually it does set you on fire if you stand in it. So I suppose you could maybe make some traps out of that. I don't know. I'm sure someone will come up with use. It also does output redstone signal, I think, if you use a comparator on it, which is always nice. So the next pretty big feature, actually, this is the sort of one that everyone's noticed for this update, is obviously Amethyst geodes. Now, you may have noticed that block over there is actually calcite, which is a new block. Everyone expected this to be marble, but no, it's in fact calcite. Now, this doesn't actually have any uses at the minute other than just being a decorative block. But yeah, it's quite a nice texture. It's almost sort of like marble, which I quite like. You know, I'm sure there's definitely going to be some uses. There's new sounds for it. Quite a nice sound to it. The second new block is tough. I don't know if this is a real life thing. I don't know if tough's an actual thing you can find. I'm pretty sure calcite is, but yeah. I like, again, new sound effects. I quite like that. So yeah, tough, another decorative block. I'm not so sure about the texture on that one, but again, I'm sure builders will find absolutely a use for that. So of course, onto the main part of this is obviously the amethyst geodes and stuff. So there's 4 stages of growth of amethyst, sort of like netherwort, and it doesn't actually grow on these. So this is actually a block of amethyst. Now this is what you get if you craft amethyst together. But the actual amethyst grows on something called budding amethyst, which looks like this. So if I show you the difference between the textures, so that's budding amethyst, and that's a block of amethyst. So as you can see, this has got a sort of little thing in it. Now, the other thing about amethyst is it makes some nice little tinkling noises when you walk over it, which is quite nice. So this is what an amethyst shard actually looks like when you mine these. Now I think you can get several pieces of amethyst from mining one of these. In fact, let's check. So we're just gonna see how many bits of amethyst we get from this. So we get 5. So we get 5 amethyst shards. Interesting. That's actually quite a lot. Oh no, maybe we only did get 4 because I think we had one in our inventory anyway. My mistake. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So while we are talking about amethyst geodes, I actually managed to find one naturally spawning. So if I press this button, it'll take us into this little cavern. Now, unfortunately, the one I found doesn't actually connect to a cave system. It's got this kind of little area here, but it doesn't actually connect to a proper cave system. I just happened to find it. Now, as you can see, I think all of the, pretty much all, yeah, except this one, they're all fully grown in here because I've obviously had this chunk loaded. It's very nearby to where I was building. But it's a very atmospheric little zone. You can see they emit a little bit of light. But yeah, and there's a nice kind of ambience to these places, which is quite cool. Yeah, as you can see, the calcite and the tuff have spawned, like, on the edges. So I think that's probably, like I said, if you're mining sort of around, you can probably, yeah, you'll be able to see, if I put a torch down, you'll be able to spot the tuff, and I'll be like, oh, okay, if I mine through here, I'll be able to get through to the geode. Now, one thing you do want to be careful of is mining through the budding amethyst, because I believe you can't pick them up. So you want to be careful of that. I assume these will be the only blocks that can generate the crystals. So that's pretty much it for the amethyst geodes. Interesting structure. I think they're going to be quite cool, quite an interesting thing to find in your world. Let's head back Okay, so the next thing, which I didn't even know was going to be a thing, it's coming as a complete surprise, is tinted glass. I think this is going to be quite an interesting feature. Now, the actual feature of this block is that it stops light passing through it. It's a see-through block, but as you can see from this little setup I've got here, no light can pass through. Now, if I open this up, you can see it immediately lights up the area. It's quite an interesting thing. A few mod packs, or a few mods, I should say, have added this feature before, but we've never actually seen it in the vanilla game. So the way you craft tinted glass is with 4 amethyst shards and a block of glass, which is quite a simple crafting recipe, but I imagine if you actually want a lot of the stuff, you're going to need amethyst farm, or at least an amethyst geode nearby, to get the stuff. Also, when you break this glass with a pickaxe, it will drop. It's not like normal glass, you won't need silk touch, it is just a block that you can pick up naturally. Okay, so moving on to probably the biggest part of this snapshot, I'd say. I think it's probably the biggest feature. It's used in most of the crafting recipes and all that good stuff. So copper, which is pretty cool. We've got the copper ore here. I'm not entirely sure what the kind of spawning mechanics of this ore are. I imagine it's going to spawn fairly high up. I can't imagine it's going to be that rare, considering the amount of uses it has. Probably going to be about as common as iron. But yeah, it's an interesting looking ore. It's got a different texture to any of the ore that we've seen before. I quite like it. That also rhymed. Nice. Anyway, here we've got a copper ingot, which is quite nice. I'm not sure about the orange that they've used. It kind of looks quite weird, but anyway, that's just me. The new copper blocks, which have got some nice sounds, which I quite like. Yeah, we've got some nice variants of this block as well. This is called cut copper. If we just see here, we've got some cut copper stairs, cut copper slabs, and just normal copper blocks. I'm not sure why they haven't added normal copper block stairs and slabs, but you know, maybe they'll add them soon. I hope so, because it'd be annoying just to have the cut copper variants and not the normal copper. So as you can see, you've got the 4 stages of weathering. Now, when I looked at the sort of statistics for how the copper oxidizes, apparently it takes 50 to 82 Minecraft days to weather, which is a really, really long time, and I think it's actually probably too long. Now, I know that that's probably not going to be the eventual time it takes, but even for a starting point, that's a very long time. But you know, I'm sure they will change that at some point. Now the other thing we've got is waxed copper. Now this can be done with any of the variants, including the cut copper and all that stuff. So if you combine any copper block with honeycomb, it creates a waxed version of that block. Now this can be done with any of these, any of the weathered ones as well, and it will basically keep it in that stage, so it will never weather more. So if you wax a normal copper block, it will never weather like this. So that's quite a nice feature. I think that's probably a good thing to add for people who just want to have the copper blocks as they are. I like it. So next thing is the sort of craftable things we've got with copper. So the first thing we've got is the spyglass. Now the spyglass requires 2 copper ingots and an amethyst shard. If we pop them in the crafting table, we should get a spyglass. Now I've got mixed feelings about this, because while it's a very cool addition, anyone with Optifine knows that we basically already have this in the form of a hotkey. Now, it really zooms. Like, it really zooms in. Like, as you can see, I can see this village from all the way over here, and I can barely see that normally, which is pretty cool. My one thing, though, is that it doesn't actually sort of load chunks as it zooms out. So as you can see, if I look over at these icebergs, it doesn't load in anymore as I look. Which is kind of a shame, because it basically means that unless you've actually explored somewhere, you can't really see it unless your render distance is on like ridiculously far, which some people probably won't have. Which, you know, I think obviously this is very early days, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of tweaks to that. I also think the actual kind of lens shouldn't be circular. I feel like it should be square. Just would fit in the game more, I think, just in general. But anyway, that's just me. So the next thing we've got is the lightning rod. Now this is a very simple crafting recipe. It's literally just 3 copper ingots in a line like that. and we have our lightning rod. Now you can put this on top of a block, on the side of a block. I believe you can also put it on the underneath of a block. You can. There you go. So this is going to be quite an interesting feature. Now, obviously, we saw in the actual Minecraft Live footage that this will just basically attract any lightning that strikes nearby. So you know, basically keep your house safe if it's made of wood. I'm not gonna lie, I've never really had a problem with lightning in Minecraft before. I don't think I've ever had my builds struck by lightning and burnt down, like they were saying in Minecraft Live, but you know, it's a cool thing to have, and it's nice to have, you know, like if you make a, I don't know, like a cathedral or something, that'd be quite a cool thing to have on top for it to be struck by lightning. It's definitely a useful block to have in builds. I know a lot of people are going to be using this. I don't know if it has any redstone properties. I imagine it will, like if lightning strikes, it will trigger redstone. I think that if it's not a feature, it definitely should be. But as I say, that might already be a feature. I'm not sure. I will put a link in the description for the actual snapshot page, so you can look at all the information, all the in-depth stuff, bug fixes, all that sort of stuff, if you're interested. Now moving on to something I think is really cool, which is candles. Again, something that we've seen a lot in mods, but never in the vanilla game. So, as you can see, and probably hear, they make a kind of, almost like a creaking noise, which is quite odd. But yeah, that's quite an interesting feature. As you can see, you can dye them in all different colours. This candle in the middle here is the actual natural colour, and as you can see, you can actually put them on a cake, which I absolutely love. I love that they've added that. They didn't have to, but it's just such a great feature. So they're a very simple crafting recipe. It's just literally a piece of string and some honeycomb, and you'll get a candle. I'll just show you, just like so, and there you go. And you can just place that like that. It works in the same way as sea pickles, where you can place up to 4 of them in a block, and they will just kind of move like that. Also, it will affect the light level, just like sea pickles. And you do have to light them with a flint and steel, so I'll show you for this one. There you go, and now it's lit on top of the cake, which is pretty cool. I'm a big fan of this. I think these are really cool. I think they're going to be very atmospheric for builds. I think it's going to be a really, really great feature that a lot of people are going to use in their builds in the future. So, moving on to the final feature of this update, or at least the final big feature of this update, I should say, is bundles. Now, I'm a big fan of this. I think we've needed an inventory management item for a long time, and I know we've got shulker boxes, but I think these are a lot better way of doing it, considering they're a lot less late game than shulkers. So, this is the crafting recipe. Now, I'm surprised that they've gone for rabbit hide for this crafting recipe. Rabbit hide has basically been a useless item up until this point, because all this is just small leather, and it's like, okay, I think it's quite a cool idea to use rabbit hide, but at the same time, I don't know about you guys, but I literally never see rabbits in Minecraft. Like, unless you're in a desert, I don't think I never see them. But anyway, that's just me. That's just, you know, my opinion. So here we have the kind of different stages of a bundle. So this is it, just empty as it is. This, as you can see, has got, it's just over half full of items. We've got 11 oak saplings, 13 orange wool, 5 brown mushrooms, and 8 bamboo. So one thing I've noticed is that the sort of interface is slightly different from the footage that they showed at Minecraft Live, in that in that footage you could actually see the items on a little display, whereas now it just lists them, which, you know, I'm not that fussed about really. I think it's probably actually better to have the list rather than just showing you, because you can quickly see what's in there. And this one is the full one. Now, as you can see, it's got a different texture to the normal one. It's kind of got almost like a just sphere of stuff. So this one's full. Now it can hold up to a stack equivalent of items. So as you can see, this one's got loads of random stuff in, from adventuring and going around the world picking up random stuff. Now the way you put stuff in is simply by, if you have an item, you right click and that item is then placed in. If you right click the bundle, it will take the item out. Now if I right click this, it will empty the whole thing. I'm not actually sure how to take one specific thing out. I don't think you can. I think it just empties itself as soon as you right click, all of the items just pop out, which I think is a bit of a shame. I think you should be able to just pick and choose what you take out, but I guess these are basically just for holding random crap that you pick up, so it's not that much of a big deal. Yeah, I just like this. I like this feature a lot. I think it's going to be really handy when you're going around, because I know I pick up just like flowers and stuff constantly in the world and end up throwing them away because I pick up so much stuff. I think this would be nice just as a way of saving space. So, as I said earlier, I'll be linking the actual update page in the description, so you can have a look at all of the sort of technical bits and all the bits that I've missed off just to save time. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this update. I think already we've got a bunch of features that are really going to like change the game, and really change how we play Minecraft, which I think is going to be really exciting. I think that's the most exciting thing about this update, is that it looks like it's really just going to overhaul just everything about the game, and even just the little quality of life stuff. I think it's really exciting. This is an interesting little thing. After I've placed that pudding amethyst, it's actually already started to grow a little amethyst geode. Fun. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll be getting some snapshots pretty soon. I know that Bedrock have had goats and powdered snow to play around with, but we've got all this stuff, so I think we're the real winners here. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll be back soon with another update video. Goodbye.